Hey there, for this video we are going to talk about some oils that are going to help you with both healthy digestion and some of those anxious feelings. Now, if you listen to podcast number 8, which is Digestive Health and Anxiety, you're going to see that there's a link between your gut and your brain. So if you haven't watched that yet, go back and watch that or listen to it. You don't watch a podcast unless it's a video, but mine aren't. So there you go. But if you have not listened to that yet, go listen to it because all of this will make a lot more sense. But we're going to talk about some essential oils that are also going to play a role in helping you to have good and healthy digestion. So I could not talk about essential oils for digestion without talking about Digize. Digize comes in Young Living's Premium Starter Kit, and for good reason. This oil, oh my goodness, if you have any kind of tummy trouble, this is your new BFF. Now, I will tell you, Digize has a love it or hate it smell. There are some people who, that is their jam. They love that smell. It's very, because of the fennel and the anise in it, it smells very like black licorice to me. So it has kind of an earthy type of a smell to it. And a lot of the oils in that are used for digestion have really strong smells and tastes. So if that is off-putting to you and strong smells bother you, but you want to use these oils topically, then one thing I tell people to do is put it on the bottoms of their feet. So your feet actually have the biggest pores. That's why we have to be kind of careful with what we're like mopping our house with, because you're going to pat around on your feet and you're going to absorb all those chemicals. So that was kind of something we talked about in a previous podcast. But if you are wanting to get essential oils into your system topically, but you hate the smell, put on that oil, throw on a pair of socks, and then you don't have to smell it, but you're getting those benefits. So now if you are wanting to get, obviously, like for me, I always like to put the oil closest to the problem. So what I mean by that is if my tummy is aching, rubbing it over my belly or taking it internally is obviously going to get that essential oil closest to the problem. So if you are somebody who absolutely cannot stand Digize, which there are those people out there, it doesn't really bother me that much, but there are those people out there. Young Living has clear veggie capsules, okay? I'm going to take one out so you can see how they work. I think dexterity is not my gifting, but this is what one of those looks like, okay? Let me hold it up. It's just a little clear gel pill and it's empty. So what I do if I'm wanting to make a Digize Vitality capsule to take internally is I will go get that essential oil and you twist it apart. See how I have two pieces now? So what you do with those two pieces, you set one aside. So I just put it in the cap so it stays clean because it's going to go in my mouth. My countertops are not always clean. Hashtag mom life. But the other thing that I like to use if I'm going to use a carrier oil is the V6 carrier oil that Young Living puts out. It is a blend of sesame oil, grapeseed oil, sweet almond oil, wheat germ oil, sunflower oil, and olive oil. Really good oils, good and healthy for you, and they're great for your skin, but they're good internally as well. So one thing I like to do is go and take my few drops of Digize and I'll drop it into the little capsule. Then what I do is I put the nozzle of the bottle right there, and it actually fits inside the capsule, okay? So then when I'm ready to make my veggie capsule filled with oil, I just put the nozzle in there and I give it one pump, and that fills it a good 2/3 of the way through the bottom portion of the capsule. Then just top off with whatever essential oils you want to use in your capsule that you need a carrier oil for. Some oils are gentle, like frankincense, lavender. You don't really need a carrier oil for those, but if you're going to do a stronger or a hotter oil like oregano or thyme or anything that you wouldn't want to put on your skin directly. You got to remember your stomach lining has very sensitive skin as well. And so that might be just a little something you can do to do a carrier oil. So real quick, we're going to go over what Digest has in it. So Digest contains tarragon, ginger, peppermint, juniper, fennel, lemongrass, anise, and patchouli. All of those are great for your digestive system, but they're good in different ways. Now, if Digest for you, you don't want that many oils or you want to try something different, first of all, Digest is the bomb, so at least give it a shot. But if you want something different, we're going to go over some other options that you have as well. So now another one is fennel. Now fennel is that black licorice smell, but fennel has a lot of good properties to it. Now, first of all, we talked about that gut tie between how we feel with our anxiety and emotions and how our gut is actually functioning. So one thing I did not realize until I started doing this podcast was that fennel actually helps with both easing your stomach, but it also helps to ease anxiety, which makes sense since a lot of those anxious feelings we learned back in our Releasing Emotions podcast, that feelings are tied generally to a body system. Anxiety is tied to your stomach. So that makes sense that fennel would actually help with feelings of anxiety. Now, another thing that it helps with is it actually promotes relaxation in the digestive tract, and it has mild laxative properties. So if you're really constipated and you've been having a hard time getting your system to let go, it will help you let go. It also helps with general gut inflammation. And so if you are somebody who has IBS or, some of those chronic gut issues where the intestinal tract is inflamed, fennel can help to soothe that as well. It also has antispasmodic properties. So that cramping, where your intestines are just squeezing and kind of uncomfortable, it can actually help them to relax a little bit. It is also rich in antioxidants. It does have that black licorice smell though. Okay, another one that helps with both anxiety in your feelings and that yucky feeling in your stomach is ginger. So ginger actually helps to resolve or even prevent the formation of gas in your digestive tract. So if mama made beans for dinner, maybe take a little capsule with some ginger before and maybe even after you eat all those beans, because they're the musical fruit. So there you go. So ginger also will help with that gut inflammation. So if you're somebody who has chronic issues, ginger and fennel can both be very comforting. That's why Digest is great as well, because it has a synergy of those soothing oils in there. Ginger also helps with nausea. That's why you see so many candied gingers or ginger lollipops for women who have morning sickness, because ginger is really great for soothing nausea. It also is used heavily in Ayurvedic medicine. Don't know if I'm saying that right, like Indian medicine. So like Eastern Ayurvedic medicine. That's how I'm saying it. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. The last one we're going to talk about as far as your stomach goes is peppermint. So peppermint has that good cooling sensation, and so it actually helps to lower the acidity in your stomach. So if you're somebody who is prone to a lot of stomach acid, that could be something where you make a veggie capsule with maybe 2 or 3 drops of peppermint and a pump of V6, and just close that little lid up and pop you a peppermint capsule. It might help to calm things down a little bit. But it can also help with that inflammatory response in your digestive system. So it helps to kind of cool things off and calm things down. And it is a really comforting oil in that regard. It also can be helpful if you want to put a drop over your belly, but I would do that with a carrier oil because peppermint is very, very cold feeling. Sometimes it feels so cold that it's kind of hot. Now, a couple of other oils for those feelings of anxiety. If you are somebody who's really dealing with a lot of anxious, nervous tension, then 3 oils that actually come in the starter kit that are going to be your new BFF are Stress Away, Valor, and Peace and Calming. Now, why do we have all 3 in the starter kit? First of all, they're all awesome and they all smell completely different, but they do different things, and each person is going to respond to them differently. And that's one thing that I love about this company, is that they have over 200 single oils and blends for us to choose from, because I may respond really well to peppermint. You may need spearmint. I may respond really well to Valor, and Peace and Calming may be your jam. So that is one thing that I love. So Stress Away is general feelings of stress. Think of being stuck in traffic, or your kids are being a little bit extra on some of those days where they can be. That's when I like to use Stress Away. It is a sweeter smelling oil, so it's got a lot of vanilla and citrus notes in it. Peace and Calming is more floral citrus. So that one is good for if you have a lot of extra like hypertension, not hypertension like high blood pressure, hyper feelings and tension is what I meant. But anyway, if you have your kids are bouncing off the walls and they won't sit down and chill out, then that's a good one for Peace and Calming, is when you feel just really revved up, okay? Peace and Calming helps to simmer you down. And then Valor is really good. Valor means brave. So if you're feeling a lot of the butterflies and the, oh my gosh, I'm about to have to perform in some way, that's where Valor, it makes you more centered. It takes away all of those scattered, just kind of feelings, and makes you feel a little bit more calm and a little bit more just even keel. So those are the 3 that I love, and they come in the starter kit. So whip them all out, smell around, and one day one may totally do it for you, and it may be a different one another day. So that's another thing as well. And another tip, they are going to smell different coming out of the bottle than they do on your skin, because they will mix with your pheromones in your skin. And then also they will smell different when they are diffused. So you can try and see how that changes for you. So I hope those little tips help, and I hope that we can all have happy little tummies from here on out. This morning I am going to show you kind of what it looks like in your intestines when a digestive enzyme starts to break down a food. I said before that the reason why this is important is a lot of us don't eat slowly enough. We swallow too big of pieces, and the little bits that are in your intestines that are actually absorbing the nutrition, they're called microvilli. They are like little finger projections that stick out from your intestines, and they have teeny tiny little vacuums that suck that nutrition up so your body can absorb it. Well, they can't suck up big pieces, just like your vacuum can't suck up a tennis ball. So what happens when you add a digestive enzyme is it quickly breaks down your food so that by the time it reaches the small intestines, it's small enough and it's liquid enough that you actually absorb the nutrition from your food. So just because you're eating your Brussels sprouts, if your body can't absorb them, it's not really doing you any good. So let's get credit for all those good healthy foods that we're eating, and I'm going to show you what that looks like now. Okay, so here I have 2 identical bowls of oatmeal. I mixed them up together in the same pot, and all I have done here is put them into separate bowls after cooking. There's been no other additives. They've been given a little time to cool, so you can see we're nice and goopy. Okay, same consistency on both sides. The only thing I'm going to do to show what digestive enzymes do to the food in your intestines, I'm going to add this little capsule of allerzyme into the bowl on the right. So there it goes, and we're gonna let him sit in there for just a minute and kind of get soft so that outer coating breaks down. And we're gonna do a time lapse here just to see what happens over time as I stir this up, just like food moves through your intestines. Okay, so after only, I'd say that was about 2 to 3 minutes of stirring, and you have to think about it, your digestive system is always moving things through, so it's not like it's just sitting there in a tube holding still. But I will tell you, it started, the liquid around the larger oat pieces started to break down immediately. When you saw me put my fingers in the bowl, that was me trying to get the ingredients out of the capsule because, you know, it's in kind of a liquid thing. So I was just trying to push that out for time's sake. But you can imagine as this goes through your intestines, how much more nutrition can your intestines absorb with this liquid mixture as opposed to this is completely solid, still sticky, okay? And we don't have that nice liquid that our intestines can absorb. This is continuing to break down even as I stir. So that's just a nice little example of what happens when you add a digestive enzyme. Okay, this one's liquid, this one's not. So this is what happens in your intestines. Oops, I made a mess. And this one is what happens to your intestines when you don't have a digestive enzyme. And this is easier to absorb all that nutrition. So you're getting that good, healthy nutrition into your body systems. This one, we're kind of stuck and it's not really moving. So hope that helps you. Pretty crazy, right? So when I started stirring up the enzyme capsule, the biggest thing was just trying to get the capsule to break, and that is coated so that it'll get past your stomach lining and kind of break down in your stomach and then pour out all of the ingredients that are in that capsule into your intestines so that everything can liquefy. So it was amazing to watch, though, that within about 30 seconds, I would say pretty much as soon as that capsule burst, that gelatinous substance that kind of makes oatmeal thick was immediately turning liquid. Now the larger oat pieces, they still are going to take more time, but you can see how very, very quickly that's going to start to break down your food into that liquid so that your intestines can absorb it. So I hope that was interesting to you. It was like a little science project in my kitchen. So hey, homeschooling win, right?